Ready, Jason? I'll call the September 15th, 2025 meeting of the Indianola City Council to order. We'll stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Clerk, will call the roll, please.
Graves,
Here.
Dolly,
Here.
Armstrong,
Here.
Beach,
Here.
Sones,
Present.
Lane.
Here.
Mayor Ricketts.
Present. We have to start off with the introduction of our Community and Economic Development Director. Jake, is that you're going to take that?
I am, and then I'm going to let him take it from there.
All righty.
So very excited to introduce our new Community and Economic Development Director tonight, Bryce Johnson. Bryce is Iowa State educated, has about 10 years of experience in the planning and economic development realm. And we're very excited and grateful to have him here, coming to us most recently from West Des Moines. So Bryce, I'll let you say a few words about yourself.
Thanks, Jake. As Jake said, graduated from Iowa State University in community and regional planning. For the past 10 plus years, I've been in municipal planning and economic development operations, where I've worked on various scaled projects from facade improvements to large data centers, also handling site selection and annexation efforts. Really excited to bring or to elevate Indianola. There's a lot of opportunity here. I'm originally from Johnston. I currently live in Waukee. Now I work for the city of Indianola, obviously, so purple and gold just kind of runs through my blood. So really excited to fly under Jake's flag here, and thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you. I'm glad to have you. Thank you very much.
Nice to meet you.
Thanks. Okay, so now's the time for public comment. If we usually limit those to about 3 minutes to make sure that everyone has a chance to speak. I know that Arlene, you want Arlene Dunn at 410 West Madison. Would you want to come to the podium there and give your name and address and go ahead and take off and go from there?
Good evening, Mayor and council members. I live at 410 West Madison Place, Indianola, Iowa. My name's Arlene Dunn. I've been a resident of Indianola for 5 years. Moved here to be closer to my children and my grandchildren. And I did get a petition from our neighborhood. They have all signed, but one who I have not gotten in touch with. We have a neighbor who is letting her property go. I've given you all a packet with the pictures. The first is the siding, which is very visible from my view. Because of all the birds that nest down in, they fly over my deck and leave feces. I've been cleaning it up all summer long, and it carries disease. I will be going to a doctor for some testing to see if I have it, because I've been showing some symptoms. I'm requesting the help of the city council to address these issues. She's a habitual violator of keeping her lawn up. We have to complain all the time in order to get her to cut her lawn. Her bushes are up to over the windows. Some of them are touching the roof line. I have made the last complaint on 9/5 or 9/2 actually of 2025. Indianola has come out, and I believe his name was Mike. I gave him access to my backyard so that he could take pictures. You will see in one of the pictures a dead branch that has been down and laying there for about 6 to 7 weeks. That'll stay there all year unless the city helps do something about it. The other thing is on the violation case number 2025-207 says remove fallen dead tree branch / limb from property. That's the one I'm talking about in the backyard. And then it says all dense brush overgrowth from property, specifically rear yard around a deck. That deck is off of her kitchen. It is no longer visible because she has left the weeds grow over the top of the deck. You can no longer see it. But it is rotten. It's pulling away from the home, creates a fire hazard. My home's pretty close to her home, so I'm in that fire hazard also. I've given you a paper of the health issue that birds can carry. The other thing is I did present at the city at the time. Mike took pictures of the siding, which I've given to all of you. That's not been addressed on the corrective action. And that's the problem that we're having when I do complain to the city. All they list is the weeds or the grass being cut. We need to address the siding, the rotting siding, the birds that are allowed to nest. And I can't even use my deck anymore. I can't sit out there. It's embarrassing to have company come to your home. I have to shut my patio drapes in order to not have my company sit at our kitchen table and have to look at this every day. And it's affecting my own emotional health to have to sit and look at this. I did not move into it when it was in this type of condition, and she just continues to let it go. And it's emotionally, mentally upsetting. So I am asking for the city's help in getting her to just simply do general maintenance on her property.
Thank you, Arlene. As I told you earlier, we really can't comment on things, but we will work with staff and figure out where we get.
Yeah, I don't know how I can get the siding and the bird issue put on the violation notice. It just continuously gets ignored.
Turn it over to community development and see what they can do.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for your time. Appreciate it. Moving on, we go to the consent agenda. Are there any items that anyone wishes to pull off as consent agenda? Hearing none, I take a motion then to approve the consent agenda as printed.
Second.
Motion a second. Jake, you want to run through that, please?
You. We'll be here all night though. It's a lengthy one. All right, so starting with item D, we've got some dates being set for future public hearings. Item 1 is a resolution setting a public hearing on October 6th at 6 p.m. for an amendment to the fiscal year 26 budget. This primarily moves capital expenses from fiscal year 25 to fiscal year 26. It accounts for the expenditure of grant revenues as well as the organizational staffing studies that were previously approved by City Council. Item 2 is a resolution setting a public hearing on October 6th, referring a zoning map and comprehensive plan amendment to an application regarding an amendment to the zoning map changing from zoning R2 and C2 to R2 in the Leonard subdivision. Item 3 is a resolution setting a public hearing for October 6th at 6 p.m. regarding amending Chapter 165 zoning regulations of the code and ordinances. This is an amendment that would get us in accordance with the new state law that had been adopted this last session. Item E, approval of applications. We've got liquor licenses for Andrea Palmer, doing business as the Local Vine, Bush's Place, doing business as the Hideout, Fairway Stores, Getting Sloshed, House 35, doing business as the Lucky Wife Wine Slushies. That'd be a temporary 5-day license for an event at 112 East Salem Ave. Liquor license renewal for Los Padrinos. Their license expires on October 1st. Liquor license for Top It Off, doing business as Top It Off Liquid Catering. This will be for a temporary 5-day license, October 7th to 11th at 210 Wesley Lane. An ownership amendment for Hy-Vee. This would change the owners listed on the amended application would be Andrew Schrader, Nathan Allen, and Aaron Weiss. And then a consideration approval for ownership amendment of Ivy doing business as the Fast and Fresh, and they would be the same owners as listed on the previous item. Item F is the third consideration adoption of the ordinance of chapter 25 for IMU's Board of Trustees. This would codify a requirement of the utility board trustee to have at least one service provided by IMU. Item G, resolution suspending enforcement of the code regarding consumption of alcohol on city streets during wine, witches, and brews. This event would be held on the square on October 24th, 2025, starting at 4 p.m. and ending at 9:30 p.m. Item H is a resolution authorizing a contract with Indian High School for EMS coverage. This agreement is designed to be cost neutral to the city. Item I is a resolution accepting participation in national opioid settlements. In 2021, the Indianola City Council entered into a memorandum of understanding to become a participating member of the Iowa opioid allocation. The national opioid case has recently reached a settlement agreement. As these funds will be used for opioid-related expenses, it is in the best interest of the citizens to participate in these settlements. The city attorney has reviewed these agreements and recommends that the council accept participation. Item J, a resolution authorizing the first addendum to the development agreement between the city of Indianola and Warren County. This would allow the Indianola Library to stay in the current facility an additional 6 months through December 31st, 2028. Given the city's extended use, the changes of the cost-sharing responsibility for the chiller replacement would align with these new dates. Resolution K, appointing representation of the Des Moines Metropolitan Planning Organization. This would name Bryce as our primary representative and me as the alternate. Item L, consideration of approval of a home-based Iowa initiative application. A veteran who was discharged under honorable conditions according to Chapter 35.1 Code of Iowa and have Title 10 active service duty for 90 days is eligible for this benefit. All paperwork is in order for approval for Kevin Carter. Item M, similar situation. All paperwork is in order for approval for Christopher Bemis. Item N, approval of the submission of second quarter 2025 utility write-offs to state set-off program for collection. The state set-off program withholds tax refunds and gambling or lottery winnings from those individuals who have had delinquent bills submitted by the city. Past due balances of about $4,400 on 52 accounts would be submitted with the approval there. Item O, approval of urban revitalization designations. This would approve tax abatement for 11 properties. And then resolution approving salaries provides a step increase for an employee, includes a change in salary for the interim police chief, and then several part-timers at the Indianola Wellness Campus.
Any questions on any item on the agenda? Hearing none, clerk call the roll, please.
Councilmember Rabe?
Aye.
Dalby?
Aye.
Armstrong?
Aye.
Beach?
Aye.
Stones?
Aye.
Lane?
Moving on to council reports. Receive and file the 2025, July 2025 Treasurer's Report. Do we have any questions? I know Doug's here and Jackie as well. If there are no questions, we'll receive and file that. Do I need to make a motion? I have a motion made on that, thank you.
I motion.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Clerk call the roll, please.
Councilmember Stones?
Aye.
Lane?
Aye.
Rabe?
Aye.
Dalby?
Aye.
Armstrong?
Aye.
Beach?
Aye.
Motion carries 6-0. Council committee reports. Anybody have any reports?
I do. First up is, I attended the IMU trustee meeting last Monday night, and a few things to share of interest. First of all, the solar installation is going well, ahead of schedule. They are remaining optimistic, but not ready to say that it will be done. They're not ready to say a date that it'll be done ahead of what they're promised. The Verizon tower that went through our Board of Adjustment board is finishing up in the next couple of days, so we'll be seeing that. And the west side cheers loudly because they have had spotty coverage for quite some time. This Nova 7 South project is pulling fiber through and should be wrapping up soon. That's the McGregor area south of town. So fiber is expanding out from Indianola proper, which is a good thing. Allowing people to have our reliable fiber connection. There were a number of projects on the docket. One in particular affects North Sixth Place. And they did approve to put that out to bid. So once that is done, they'll have the dates firmed, and they're hoping to start that project early spring, but it does affect residents because a whole block will be being replaced. So once more information comes, or I will bring that back on future meetings. I think that's it for that. Main Street Economic Vitality, we had a presentation from Iowa Main Street. It was a good presentation where they came down and showed us all of the data collection points and past surveys, historical data that's available to us to help drive decisions and really market ourselves better as downtown Main Street. So Erica and her team will get to work on pulling more reports. They've already tapped into some of what was shared, but they will be tapping into more based on what they know now is available. It was good information. Jake attended as well, so he got some good information that we will tap into from a city standpoint. Wednesday, we will be meeting as a landfill board where we will be reviewing and revising our board bylaws. They call it bylaws, but it's really our 28E agreement that hasn't been updated since the late 90s. Jake, Steve, and I met and came up with recommendations for what we want to see changed. Once the board finalizes those, it'll go through legal review and come to council before it is all said and done. Another note of interest from tomorrow's agenda is, or Wednesday, I keep saying tomorrow, sorry about that. I've been on vacation, so my days are all mixed up. We are going to vote to increase gate fees by $1. I think I've shared in the past that we did an analysis to see where we stood with our comparable landfills, and we're low, so we're just trying to increase to get in line. So that's all I have.
Anyone else have any committee reports? Okay, we'll move on. I'm gonna delay Childhood Cancer Awareness Month. Sheena Gorder is gonna be here. She's at a volleyball game, hopes to be here in about half hour. We're still here. If she's not, then I'll go ahead and do that before we adjourn. Community update, couple things, actually quite a few things. I had the honor of being taught how to call bingo on October 5th out at the, or September 5th out at the activity center. It was a great experience, but it was a lot of fun. And Doug, you got quite an active group out there of senior citizens. So Bob Kling's party, going retirement party, I guess that's what you want to call it, from the Iowa Indianola Fine Arts Commission is September 25th at 7 p.m. at the Brick House. The Iowa Gold Star Military Museum is hosting an Armed Forces 250th birthday celebration September 20th, 4 to 7 at Camp Dodge. Freedom Center, I was invited to that, and I will be attending that as well. Chief Scheer retired today. They did his final call today at noon. And thank you for everybody that was out there attending and taking part in that, so. Mayor's Youth Council, we're starting to take applications, they're still taking applications for young freshmen that want to be part of the Mayor's Youth Council. We will start going into that application process, or actually looking at the applications next week and going through that process with them. We also did a fundraiser for Unravel, which is childhood cancer awareness, at the football game on Friday night. Had some great kids show up and actually take the lead and put that together, and Jamie Mickelson did her great job as usual, helping with that too, and I was there, and Jake was there, and we raised a fair amount of money, so we're gonna go ahead and do that again in October at a volleyball game. I think that is, if I'm not mistaken. Gotta put it on my calendar, I guess it'd be a good thing. It's October, and we'll have another night of fundraising for that particular activity. Groggy Dog West Hill Oktoberfest is September 19th. Tunes and Treats, 1 o'clock, Tuesday at the Activity Center. And a couple of other things here. Dayton Duncan is doing his presentation tomorrow night at 6:30 at Hubble Hall. It's the Friends of the Library are putting that together, and if you don't know who Dayton Duncan is, he's done a lot of work with Ken Burns and a lot of his programs on PBS, so it'll be a very interesting evening if you can make it. That's at 6:30. Simpson football plays at home. Indianola is on the road this week, but Simpson plays at home Saturday at 1 o'clock. I would encourage folks to get out and support the Storm in that case if you've got nothing else to do but want to watch some football locally. Melissa will be receiving a SEMO certificate, I believe, on Wednesday? Thursday. Which day is it? Okay, I'm pretty sure it's Wednesday, but that's at the Iowa League of Cities Annual Conference. And that SEMO is Certified Elected Municipal Officials certification. You have to go through a number of different programs and projects to get that certification, and thank you for doing that, Melissa.
70 hours.
7, how many?
70.
70, yes, it's very, very intensive, so. With that said, that is my community update. We move to old business. Discussion direction regarding budgeted vacant positions at the Indianola Wellness Campus. Doug, are you up on this one?
Mayor and member of council, Doug Byland, Chief of Culture and Recreation. We just have our request to fill some part-time budgeted positions, member services at the IWC and Learn and Play at the IWC. So keep the building open, keep childcare going, those things. So if we lose people as it's part-time, they get their real careers. We need to replace them when they leave.
Any questions for Doug? Do we need a motion on that? No? Okay, got your direction. There you go. Okay. Discussion direction on filling the Public Works Director position. I'm gonna guess that would be Jacob Meschke.
Yes. Well, I want to start off by thanking AP. He's given 5 years of dedicated service to the city of Indianola, and we'll be looking at this time to move on to a new opportunity. So with AP giving his notice and his last day being September 25th, 2025, coming before you with the request to go ahead and fill the Public Works Director position. The Public Works Director is a key position with wide-ranging duties and responsibilities to include staff and operational leadership, project and budget management, and internal and external customer service, communication, and coordination. This position is budgeted within the FY26 budget, and staff does recommend to proceed with recruitment and selection for the position.
Questions on that? Okay.
One question kind of tangential to that. Should we have some discussion here in the future about all the budget positions and whether we should be giving direction on those? I know like why we did it in the past. We were in a transition time, leadership, but these are all like budgeted things for our city manager to operate under. And I just wonder if that's something that we still need to be doing as policymakers, not administrators.
Do you want to discuss that down at the future agenda items? What do you want to do?
I don't know if that's the appropriate spot. We're just keep talking. We have 2 in a row. This is like all the ones that have come up lately are all in the budget, all covered.
Why don't we take a look at that?
I think our staffing study will kind of help with that direction going forward for Jake on
I think the reason we asked to do that is because we still have an $800,000 budget shortfall or some budget shortfall. I don't know how much we've shrunk that. And so as these come forward, the question is, should we fill them?
I'll leave you, Mayor, on where we should discuss it properly. I didn't mean to throw.
No, you're
out
fine.
anything.
It's okay here too, if you wanna talk about it here. The only thing is that, I think our council policy pretty much says that the city manager has the right to fill those positions. And the issue here, I think, is since they've already been budgeted, whether or not we want to keep bringing these back to council if it's already something that's budgeted and it's just taking place somebody that's leaving and filling a position, that's the question.
Well, I guess because we did a hiring freeze.
True.
Was what our direction was.
The reason for the hiring freeze is,
Well,
Staffing study to figure it out.
I'm not saying anything like for or against this. I'm just stating why it's coming.
Jake wasn't here.
That's true. That's true.
Now he is. That's my only point.
Yeah.
Right, like, what was great.
Right.
Transitional stage, we're doing stuff about the budget every week, interim leadership. You know, again, just thinking about it from a policy versus administrative perspective is that, especially if it's these ones that we just kind of rubber stamp, like, should we, is this our role? Just want to talk about it. I don't know. I didn't even know Mary said it's actual policy that it's, we're not.
Well, the city manager has the right to hire and fire essentially whom he wants based on the positions necessary. But we did give him, go ahead, you were gonna say.
Sorry.
Well, we did give him, some direction, or we did at the time anyway, to have it because of the budgeting issues and everything. I get that, but to your point, I think we've got him on board. We trust him making his decisions. He's in the budget on a regular basis. He knows where we are. And I don't think he'd bring these forward if he didn't think we could afford it.
I was speaking to both sides of it. And I don't know if it can be, if we can do that or not, do this or not, but if it's a new position that hasn't already been budgeted for, until we figure out the budget, maybe still bring those forward, but these ones that have already been budgeted for, could we maybe just put them on the consent agenda? And then if one of us had a question, we could pull it?
Well, I think the answer to that is that if it's already budgeted, I like your idea of putting it, of something that's not budgeted. But at the same time, I think if we've got a policy in place that says the city manager has the ability to hire those folks and we have no issue with that hiring, that becomes the question then, I think, too. Should we just let?
Right, but technically we're under a hiring freeze right now.
Well.
We voted on that, correct?
No, it was just
Just a
direction.
direction.
Direction. And I'm sensing the direction is kind of changing to just allow those folks to fill those positions that already have been budgeted.
Future agenda item, I would caution doing any direction regarding something that's not on the agenda currently, based off of Wednesday.
Yeah, I'm fine with it. I just want to ask if we can talk about it. That's all I was. This got way deeper than I thought. It got real quick.
Right.
I was just asking
Yeah.
so that we could discuss it.
So, kind of skipping ahead, can we go ahead and put that on the agenda to discuss in the future? Can we?
I mean, you can say that you want it to be a future agenda item,
Right.
but if you're going to deliberate on it, it needs to have already been on the agenda. So
Right.
what it would need to be is on the agenda for next meeting.
Right, that's what I'm asking.
That's what you're saying, right?
Yes.
Just generally speaking, that power does fall to Jacob. So, I mean, unless it's carved out in the
Do I have to say
ordinance.
pretty, please? Are you saying the power falls to be put on the agenda?
To hire and fire for your budgeted positions.
It's on the next agenda then. Are we all good with that?
Mayor, if I may, just a point of clarification, we'll include this for the discussion next time too, but the point Allison was making is that it's not policy, it's actually city code. that says that essentially hiring and firing authority is vested in the city manager for budgeted positions. To Councilmember Beach's point, it is actually also in city code that any new positions do have to come to city council for approval. So that's actually the way that city code is written at right now.
Right, which is why I was asking about the consent agenda, like if that would make others feel at ease that had, you know, we're talking about the hiring freeze, so.
We got it on the agenda for next meeting then. Okay, we're good. Okay, so in this particular case, though, we okay with that filling that position? We all? Okay.
Yep.
Okay. All right, next up is a resolution authorizing the city of Indianola to enter into an engagement with MGT Impact Solutions LLC for Chief of Police Recruitment Services. Jake, is this you here?
It is, yep.
Okay.
Police Chief Brian Schur has announced his retirement effective today, September 15th, 2025. Given the specialized nature of the role and police chief, its significance to public safety, and the importance of attracting a highly qualified and community-oriented candidate pool, staff recommends engaging an executive recruitment firm to support the search of the next police chief. 5 proposals were received and reviewed by an internal team. These proposals ranged in price from $17,000 to nearly $40,000. Staff recommends selecting MGT to lead this recruitment based on the overall quality of their proposal, the experience of the recruitment team, the level of assistance provided, experience in similar Midwest communities, and value when considering their fee in conjunction with the services offered. The fee for service for MGT is $26,000 excluding consultant travel. A budget for advertising is included within that service fee and would be billed to the city at actual cost. The fee and any related expenses will be covered in the approved FY26 budget through personnel savings in this transitionary time. Staff recommends approval of this item, and I would stand for any questions.
So before we start discussion, can I get a motion in a second?
So moved.
Second.
Yes, motion in a second. Any questions? Comments?
I think we're pretty familiar with MGT, and I think they're familiar with us as well. So I think it's the right path forward to fill this position.
We have a timeline. We're under a kind of a timeline. Is that correct?
Yeah, we've got 12 weeks / 90 days per Civil Service Commission requirements. So we are under a timeline to fill the position permanently, or make an appointment, I should say. MGT, again, with their Midwest experience, are well versed in civil service. They did adjust their timeline on this search to accommodate that 12-week, 90-day window. So they are a willing and able partner to provide an extensive and thorough search, yet do it within the time frame that is allotted to us by state law, and also within their agreement, they do agree to comply with Chapter 400 of Civil Service, so that is actually built right into the provisions of their contract.
Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, clerk call the roll, please.
Councilmember Armstrong?
Aye.
Beach?
Aye.
Stones?
Aye.
Lane?
Aye.
Wade?
Aye.
Selby?
Aye.
Motion carries 6-0. Resolution authorizing contract with Snyder and Associates for updating the drainage master plan. Since we're going to talk about that, let's get a motion in a second.
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion in a second. AP?
Good evening, Mayor and Council.
Good evening.
Paul, Public Works Director. So, back in 2020, the City Council adopted a drainage master plan, which was based on data and city staff input from areas where we had flooding concerns. Since then, the City Council in 2021 adopted a new stormwater rate that raised the rates from $2 to $6 per ERU based on the $6.3 million of improvements that was recognized in the Stormwater Master Plan. It was phased for a period of 9 years at that time. But since then, the city has, over the last 5 years, we have recognized other locations. There's been cost increase in construction cost that has triggered the need for updating our master plan. Progress has been made over the time where we have done stormwater projects, we have completed GIS, we have done multiple other stormwater improvements that were recognized previously in the stormwater master plan. But with this, it is time for us to update our master plan, revisit the projects where we have recognized other flooding concerns. So we want to, with this with this service that we want from Snyder and Associates, we want to prioritize our projects using our GIS data that's already been collected. We want to analyze and update our stormwater projects. Based on the review of that, they will be preparing planning estimates for future capital projects that will be ranked based on the priority that's needed, whether it's failed infrastructure or whether there's more flooding concerns. And with that and with that planning estimates, you will be able to revisit the need for if there is a need for increasing the stormwater rates. So this service is, the agreement that has been produced to you is not to exceed for an amount of $24,500.
AP, this does not include that area that we had had some issues on Iowa, Henderson, down through Girard, that area, does it? Does this include that as well?
So we are going to look, we are currently looking at that. There's some on the upstream end, there's on the previous study, there's already been like 14th Street and Iowa, 14th Street and Hillcrest, there's some stormwater improvements recognized in that area. Hopefully that's going to help if you're doing something in the upstream, but directly south of Iowa, I don't recall anything that's recognized there.
So Dave Miller with Snyder and Associates. That project will be included, but the analysis is already done.
Okay.
So the project will be included in, or the improvements will be included in the list of projects, if you will. I think we were listing the areas that we were going to do additional analysis. So we're going to use all of the GIS data that has condition and age and the material type. So that will create more projects when we look at that. We look at those condition reports and we'll be more predictive and more proactive in terms of if we have a 35-year-old CMP pipe, we know it's coming to the end of its life, so we need to program that in there. So the projects that were listed in the proposal were those areas that we have looked at. We recognize there's a problem. We need to have some additional drainage analysis to understand what the extent of the improvements need to be.
Okay.
But the other improvements that are already identified and that have a good concept, they're going to be in the master plan.
Okay.
They just won't, we don't have to do the analysis as part of this
So
process.
you are saying that area from Iowa down through Henderson, past the Indianola village there and down through that's all already in the plan and already will be addressed, okay.
That will be a project in the plan.
Yeah, okay, thank you, okay. That was one of the things, Melissa, I think yeah, okay. Okay, any other questions for AP or?
Did Snyder complete the study done in 2020?
I'm sorry.
Did you guys do the study in 2020, so you're able just to piggyback off of that data?
Just roll with it, yep.
Any further questions? Call the roll then, please.
Councilmember Beach,
Aye.
Stones,
Aye.
Lane,
Aye.
Dave,
Aye.
Bobby,
Aye.
Armstrong.
Aye.
Motion carries 6-0. I'm gonna put back into, if it's okay with everybody and our legal counsel. Sheena is here with the Childhood Cancer Awareness Proclamation, so if it's okay, I'm gonna go ahead and do that now, and, okay? Sheena, a few minutes, let me read this, and then we'll get a picture, I hope. If somebody's got a camera, we'll get a picture, so. Childhood Cancer Awareness Month is September 2025, whereas cancer is the leading cause of disease-related death among children, and whereas the United States, 1 in 285 children will be diagnosed with cancer by their 20th birthday, with approximately 46 children per day, or 16,790 children per year, receiving a diagnosis of cancer. And whereas 2/3 of childhood cancer patients have chronic health conditions as a result of their treatment toxicity, with 1/4 being classified as severe to life-threatening, and whereas nonprofit organizations at the local and national level are helping children with cancer and their families cope through educational, emotional, and financial support, and whereas Childhood Cancer Awareness Month recognizes the courage and compassion of those children and their families throughout the nation who have battled or are currently battling cancer, as well as the generosity of many organizations that provide support, And whereas by working together to raise awareness of devastating effects of childhood cancer and the need for continued research into the causes, improved treatments, and a cure for the disease, we can make a positive difference for families, patients, and survivors in the future. Now therefore, I, Steve Richardson, Mayor of the City of Indianola, do hereby proclaim September 2025 as Childhood Cancer Awareness Month in the City of Indianola and encourage all residents to join together to memorialize the young lives that were lost too soon, to celebrate the survivors and support the families currently fighting this devastating disease. Sheena, do you want to come up to the podium, if you would, please, and give your name and address and kind of explain why you're involved with this organization?
My name is Sheena Gorder. I live at 802 East Scenic Valley Court. About 7 years ago, we became one of those families that heard the news that our child had cancer. Our daughter was almost 6 years old, just the June of 2018, about ready to start kindergarten. And we heard those words sitting in Blank Children's Hospital. She had a Wilton's tumor. She went through chemo, radiation, surgery, all the things. Very thankful that she is still here today with us. She is a 7th grader at Indianola Middle School. I'm just here to thank you, Mayor Richardson, for making this a proclamation. It's just about bringing awareness to childhood cancer, that it is not rare. It happens in our community more than we think. I know I can think on my one hand 5 kids that have been affected by it. So it just means a lot that we're just bringing the recognition, and it's just about educating yourself and the awareness and raising funds. I know the Mayor's Youth Council raised some funds, some great funds at the football game, and they're going to do that again in October at the volleyball game. So I truly appreciate that.
And we encourage everybody to come and support the Indianola volleyball team and also spend a little money, so.
Yes.
Sheena, let's get a picture here if we can.
Yes.
And I'll give you the proclamation.
Thank you.
Not as fancy as Aaron, but we'll try.
Right up here, come on up here.
Count it down between the two.
3, 2, 1, 3, 2, whatever. All right, 1, 2, 3. Okay, let's get a couple more. I do my best Aaron impression, so give me a break. All right, perfect, that's good, thank you.
Of course, he wants to get one.
That's what I was gonna say too. Grow the beard, Jason. Grow the
What's
beard.
that?
Grow the beard.
Oh, yeah, I wish I could.
Thank you.
Your daughter looked pretty healthy Friday night at the ball game, so. God bless on that kid.
Thank you for all you do, Sheena.
What?
Thank you for all you do
Yes,
to raise
thank you.
awareness.
Okay, so we are on, get back to my organization here. Okay, first consideration of an ordinance amending chapter 66, load and weight restrictions for establishing truck routes. So do I have a motion to get into first consideration in a second, please?
So move.
Motion a second. Okay. JP, you're up again.
Thank you. Mayor and Council, I'm revisiting this topic back in May 5th council meeting. We have discussed about this topic, about truck routes. Before that too, I know many of you have received complaints. We as Public Works also receive frequent complaints. So the purpose of adopting this truck route is not just to protect residential neighborhoods from frequent heavy truck traffic, but also to preserve the road infrastructure and also improve truck safety for all road users. So currently, we do not have anything for truck routes. The trucks can travel any of the residential streets, and we don't have any means and mechanism to give them a citation or violation. So the impacts is, again, frequent resident complaints, wear and damage of the residential streets. So at the last council meeting, I had produced this map to you, where the orange colored area is where we create our most amount of truck traffic is generated in that. I call them the truck traffic hotspots. Based on that, we have now created another truck route map, which I'll share with you in a minute. So we have now drafted the first reading of the truck route ordinance, where the key code update is to apply this truck route will apply to any commercial vehicles that exceeds 12,000 pounds. The exceptions will be for emergency vehicles, school buses, city and utility vehicles, and any commercial vehicles that's less than 12,000 pounds. Local deliveries and pickups can deliver to their destination, provided they must enter the truck routes through the nearest intersection from the truck routes to their destination. So they will have to come to a truck route and then travel to the nearest destination that they are traveling to. If anybody is in violation, they will be enforced. The police department will have the right to go and enforce, write citations. What we have also created in the exception is also when we review construction plans or site plans, you will have the ability to create a detour routes during that process, so that you will have alternate routes in case that the truck routes has constructions or there's any other impact in that front. So this is the map I wanted to share, primarily Hillcrest Avenue from Jefferson Way all the way to the city limits. Then you got 17th Street south of Hillcrest Avenue. We have got 14th Street from Hillcrest Avenue to Iowa Avenue. We have also got Iowa Avenue and 15th Street. I think it's 6th Street and Girard Avenue is one more location, and then Clinton Avenue, I believe, is the other location. So now these are created, these truck routes that we are proposing as staff is locations where we have seen the most amount of truck traffic that's generated, and all of these roads, almost all of these roads are functionally classified as arterials, both in our comprehensive plan as well as in the Iowa DOT Federal Functional Classification Map. So we had a public open house on August 5th where businesses were supportive of every formal truck route that we have proposed during that presentation. However, residents have expressed concerns about Iowa Avenue and North 15th Street, more of on North 15th Street, but I've received concerns also on Iowa Avenue. So with that in mind, if the council decides to adopt these locations and on the map that I've showed, then we'll have to invest in the future for capital planning for future capital projects. Also, we'll have to invest $2,000 in new signage that is currently available in existing budget. So basically with that, I don't have anything else to add on this slide. I'm open to questions after this.
So AP, I think at that open house, correct me if I'm wrong, but the discussion was that there may be other routes in the future added. Is that correct, as needed, or was I incorrect in assuming that?
So there was discussion about adding West Iowa Avenue and Kenwood. There was some support from business, but as well as there was opposition from residents about doing that. So we have internally, staff has discussed that, but at this time, we don't see any major truck traffic generators on that side of the town. So at this time, it's primarily on the northeast quadrant of the city.
So the point would be, though, as the city grows and changes, that this is going to be a continual and could potentially be an ever-changing process. Is that correct?
Yes, like any other component for not just traffic route, the city code is a living and breathing document where you have to update it from time to time as the city grows.
I have a couple questions.
Go right ahead.
So, this kind of stems back for a couple of years ago, so I don't know who else was on the council besides me and Melissa, me and Christina and Steve. But we had a FedEx driver who drives a delivery vehicle and had a complaint about someone parking that vehicle in his driveway.
He actually drives at home.
Yeah, so he drives at home. So how will that impact this particular person? Because at that time, he's not making deliveries. He's going home, but he has a vehicle that might exceed the 12,000 pounds.
So they will also have to follow the truck route. They have to go to the closest truck route, whether it's Hillcrest, I don't know where they live, but they'll have to go to the closest truck route and then find an intersection that's closest to their destination. So if they follow that truck route and go to the closest location to their house, then they can follow that path.
So he'll be okay, he can still.
Yes, provided he goes to the closest intersection to the truck routes that's adopted.
There is a gentleman, I drive by his house, and he has a grain semi in his driveway. So I think that must be his living. He lives not anywhere near a truck route. He lives on the west side of town, not on the east side of town. How are we gonna go about updating him that there's a truck route and his current situation isn't on the truck route?
So currently Iowa 65, 69, and 92 are designated as truck routes. The state has adopted, the state allows you to travel to them. So if he or she travels to the closest destination from highway, if they don't live in the northeast quadrant.
So he can still drive it home, park it in his driveway, and he's not gonna get a citation?
Yes.
Oh, okay, all right.
I guess my question is then, I mean, if the DOT has the existing truck routes as 92 and 65, 69, why are we adding additional truck routes? Why don't we just make our designated truck routes the same? Why are we adding additional through residential neighborhoods?
So we get frequent complaints, for instance, North 9th Street. Currently, we get frequent complaints where trucks use it as a cut-through traffic. There's other locations in town where they use cut-through, they just cut through the location. For example, First Avenue that runs east-west. We have constantly received trucks traveling east-west towards the school, or even Salem Avenue. They have cut through traffic. They could have used Highway 92 or maybe 15th Street to get to their destination, but they have chosen other locations. So with the current routes in place, you will not be able to enforce that cut-through traffic.
I guess I don't understand why you couldn't enforce it. If we made our ordinance that they can only travel on 92 or 65, 69, unless they are veering off to go to a specific location to drop off a load or whatever. I guess I just don't understand why we wouldn't be able to enforce that, because if they're off route and they're not taking the most direct route, we could have enforced that.
Maybe I can chime in just for a second on that. So you're right, like the primary route we want to encourage is the state highways throughout town. However, if they're going to do business off of that, if we don't adopt local truck routes, they could use any road, right? So what AP is saying is like, we're trying to keep them off of those residential, like 9th Streets and other areas that are built as local roads, and getting them on our arterials that we have designated within the community. So ultimately, if we don't adopt truck routes, especially on the east side of town where we have truck traffic, any road would be available to them to use. And not all of those roads are constructed with the appropriate sub-base and materials to withstand truck traffic. So it's really just trying to guide them, especially on the east side, where we have more truck traffic coming into the community for business purposes, to appropriate roads that are designed and built to handle the weights and such of those vehicles.
So I guess then why not just designate Hillcrest and 14th and 15th? Or the northern portion of 15th, I should say, not the southern portion. 15th that's built further on, it's gravel right now, obviously, but.
We do have, maybe I can answer that too, though. We do have farmers that come in on Hillcrest, drive down 14th to Iowa to Heartland Co-op. Now they could go, you're correct, they could go all the way down to the highway, but then they'll have to come back on Girard, which is, as you see, is designated as a truck route, or Iowa, either one, to Heartland Co-op at that particular point. But as far as your point about Hillcrest, yeah, you've got the industrial park out there. That's most of the reason why you get the truck traffic.
And so that's why I'm curious, like, why we're making all of Iowa and all of the southern portion of 15th truck routes. I mean, I think you could truly just enforce it that they have to go down Hillcrest to the highway down, and go up. You said it's Gerard, right?
Yeah.
Is that Gerard?
Yeah, see Iowa there and Gerard's one right next to below.
So, and just make that small little turnaround square, and then you're avoiding all the residential and all the concerns that people have. I mean, if I still had young kids at home, I would be concerned if I had semis coming down my street. I mean, those are pretty densely populated areas. They're not, you know, just a few houses. That's dense population.
So
Well-
these are, when I looked at all of these are areas where they connect to businesses or locations where truck traffic is coming out of today. And these streets are already being used. What we're doing is forcing them to only use these streets. And I think, like Jake and AP said, it's going to give us a mechanism to enforce it. Today, we have no way of enforcing it through a ticket, you know, through law enforcement to say, you can't take 7th Street or 1st Street, because that's what we've had a lot of complaints about right now, is they're using.
Well, the only reason they're using 14th and 15th is from Hillcrest or from Iowa is because it's a shortcut. It bypasses all the stoplights. They don't have to use their brakes, essentially. They can just go. That's why they use it. But you can enforce that. If you make that not part of their route, if they're caught on that route, they can be ticketed. If you just took off this section here, oops, sorry, this section here and this section here, they could be ticketed for being off route on any of those. Because there's no industrial on 15th. The new stuff that's going in is on 92 east of town, so clear out here. So they could take the highway and go all the way through town and go out.
What about all your industrial that's along?
There is no industrial along here. You would leave this, sorry, I didn't mean to take that out. Just this section here and this section here. So Iowa from North 6th up to 15th, and then all of the southern portion of 15th.
Okay, so.
And then they would still have 14th to access any of the industrial on 14th from Hillcrest.
So you're saying for them to get back to a highway, then if we were to get rid of 15th Street, they're
They
gonna
would
have to go to Jefferson and around versus going 15th to
through residential.
Second.
Mm-hmm.
I think you have to have that little jog on Iowa there from 14th to 15th because you've got.
Right, because you've got that business right there on the corner.
The things there in the corner.
Mhm.
But there's only two.
But you got Missouri Valley linemen that they do have. heavy
Yeah, you have
equipment.
Sternquist.
Yeah.
Right, but that's, their entrance is on 14th. It's
Yeah, those are, yeah. But you do have
linemen and,
the old central paving building,
Yeah.
is what I call it. And then, but you've also got, you do have Missouri Valley there too on that one corner.
right, but those two businesses are the only ones with drives right there.
But I still.
Missouri Valley and.
Right, but you'll have to make that jog there. You'll have to, if you take out 15th, what I'm hearing you, you're still gonna have that little leg on Iowa there to the east because you've got those businesses plus Missouri Valley linemen. And they
Right, but
do
there's also not hardly any, there's no
residential.
residential.
Oh, I know,
It's an apartment
no,
complex,
I'm good.
but it's
It faces
separated in
14th, yeah,
half.
yeah.
Yeah.
You're saying get rid of Iowa
From
the hill.
Sixth,
To 14th.
yeah, from Sixth to 14th.
You just put a stop sign on Ninth and Iowa
Mhm.
for all the pedestrian traffic. So it would seem-
You've already got one in Ninth and Iowa.
Oh, no, we just put it
That's what
in.
he's saying.
We just put in, it would seem silly to route a whole bunch of trucks past a stop sign. We just put in to help protect pedestrian traffic.
And I'm with you, Christina. I have the concerns on 15th, you know. I talked to by some people that live not off 15th, but in the area. And the truck concerns on that road with all the residential. And, you know, you get the middle school right there. You're gonna have a lot of kids that are gonna walk from middle school. If they live over in that area to home, and probably some Emerson kids too.
You have a lot of teens driving that
So
route to school.
I had those concerns, had concerns about Iowa as well that Josh kind of touched on. So kind of,
Yeah, cause that intersection's at Ninth in Iowa,
Right.
so.
That means all traffic there
Mhm.
and any farmers coming from the northeast have to go out to the highway. They cannot cut down and cut across Iowa to get to the co-op or to get back out.
Yeah, they'd essentially just have that little loop from Girard to Sixth to Iowa and then back out. Which is really where
Should be, yeah.
it should be, yeah. And that's what I would propose, but I don't know how we go about.
That's what we're here for. Always mend it right now, make the changes.
That's why I didn't know if we can actually,
Well, the resolution is to amend the entire chapter. It's, you know, you're basically saying what roads and if you go in there, here it is right here, Christina. So all you do is you just take out one section of that you wanna take out. So Clinton, so they got Clinton Avenue, Jefferson Way to North Fifth, Hillcrest from Jefferson to 17th. Iowa from Jefferson to 15th, you just modify that, say Jefferson to Sixth. And then Hillcrest from between 14th and 15th, that's what you do there. Am I correct in that?
You can do that. We can amend it as here as long as we do the reading.
Right.
Read it as, right? And because it's the first, we can do that after this.
okay, so since we already have a motion on the table, do we have to vote that motion down and then remake a motion or just withdraw it?
Can you remember what the current motion is to approve it
Chapter.
As written.
Then you would need to vote it down. And then take a new motion to approve as amended. And indicate what the amendment is going to be.
Or we could withdraw the second and withdraw the motion, correct?
That is true as well. You could do that as well.
Withdraw my second.
Who had the motion?
Draw.
Okay, so we withdraw the motion, withdraw the second, withdraw the motion. So the amendment would be then, this is how it would read if you're on page 176 of our packet. Iowa Avenue from Jefferson to North Sixth. And then Iowa Avenue from the intersection of North 14th to 15th Street. That would take care of what your concern is, and then 15th Street comes out of there as well. So 15th Street from Second Avenue to Iowa Avenue would be deleted.
Mayor, members of the council, if I may, if you're gonna make that adjustment based on the way this is written, then I would also take out all of Iowa at that point. Because as AP mentioned, the way the ordinance is written is that they have to follow the closest truck route to their destination. So essentially, if they're coming off Jefferson to make a delivery on Iowa west of Sixth, and that intersection of Jefferson and Iowa is still gonna be their closest access to the truck route. So there wouldn't need to be that leg of the truck route from Jefferson to Sixth Street. So I think that's what you're saying is take out.
Well, yes and no. Well,
You get Hy-Vee there.
but you've got,
That's how the farmers get to the co-op.
but they also travel on Sixth Street to, if they weigh a lot of times they'll weigh the grain. They'll drive up Sixth Street and they come back in or from around Sixth Street into the elevator. The only thing I'm saying.
They can still leave the truck route as long as it's.
Yeah, they could. So you could take out Sixth Street, you're right.
Not Sixth, Iowa completely.
Yeah, you could do that.
So,
So what you're saying is the only piece of Iowa would be on there would be 14th to
15th.
15th.
You wouldn't need that either, I don't think.
Yeah, you do. You got two businesses front 14th.
Still direct.
It's the closest intersection
Gotcha.
to the truck route, so you wouldn't necessarily need to designate that as the truck route.
You're right.
They just have to
yeah, good
immediately
point.
exit and go.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. So you just take Iowa out altogether?
Iowa and the
15th.
southern portion of 15th,
Correct.
so from Iowa to 15th. Oh, hold on, I'm looking at this now so I can get
Iowa
my
and
motion
Iowa
correct.
You're taking out all of Iowa and all of 15th Street?
All of 15th or just the southern part of 15th?
Well, I was gonna say, let me look at this.
14th is still in,
Yeah.
Why would we keep any of 15th?
but it's that one block stretch there that you don't need that, so.
You got that?
So.
That's on the northern section, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's 17th up here, isn't it? Okay.
Where are we leaving
So
it?
that's not 15th, so we wouldn't keep any of 15th.
And then from 14th, then we're taking off all, we're
Taking
leaving
out
15th.
all, no.
That's because it's a
taking that out.
direct, most direct route.
Correct.
Yeah, you would take out all of Iowa and all of 15th. So can I make the motion to accept it with the exception that we remove East Iowa and East 15th, or North 15th Street
Just 15th.
from the
It's north and south.
proposed route?
It's north and south.
North and South 15th,
Correct.
sorry.
Yeah.
Is that how I would make that motion?
Yes, that is how you can make that motion. When we go to.
North and South 15th Street and Iowa Avenue. Did I miss
Mhm.
one?
I think you got it.
So, just before we make a motion and move on here, so we're gonna ask the farmers that are used to town, that are used to coming down 14th Iowa over to the co-op, so now they're gonna have to take their tractors and grain wagons and go out to Jefferson and around.
Yeah, they're not gonna be happy.
They're not gonna be happy. But I understand what we're doing.
I mean, technically, no, I don't know. I mean, so I guess if our ordinance says that they can take the most direct route, the most direct or the shortest route?
Nearest from.
So technically, they still could go down Iowa if that is the shortest route from their starting point, right?
I'm not sure how you would enforce that.
No? Okay.
'Cause it's not the nearest. Jefferson would be more near it than 14th.
Then 14th, okay, I
Right.
get you, I get you, I get you. So, I mean, yeah, sadly, I mean, if that keeps them out of the residential areas and off.
Generally, it's tractors with grain trailers,
Mhm.
not semis. Some, once in a while, you'll have a semi, but they usually go the highway. And living in that
Yeah,
area.
I drive that road
I know
pretty
you do.
frequently. I mean, every day. And I think I've only ever been behind a tractor once
Yeah,
on that road. It's usually semi trucks,
okay.
not
On Iowa?
tractors. Yeah,
That part of Iowa?
yeah.
Well, folks,
Come harvest time though, we're gonna hear, I think we're gonna hear about it.
so what's your motion again then? To take out all of Iowa?
Take out all of Iowa and all of North and South 15th.
Second
Okay, any further discussion?
You just gotta do roll call, right?
Yeah, it'll be roll call. And, you know, again, it's okay if we disagree on some things, so go ahead.
Councilmember Sones?
Aye.
Lane?
Aye.
Rabe?
Aye.
Dalby?
No.
Armstrong?
No.
And Beach.
Aye.
Motion carries 4-2. We'll bring second reading back. If there's further discussion on the second reading, we can take it at that point in time. Okay, we're on to first consideration of an ordinance amending Code of Ordinances, City of Indianola by adding a new section prohibiting false representation of a service animal. Have a motion and a second?
So moved.
Second.
A second? Okay, discussion. Who's taking this one?
The state passed House File 615, on service animals. The previous law required that an officer give a warning before issuing a citation to a handler, and the required person with the animal had to know that the animal was not a service animal or training to become one. The new law strikes those two requirements. So now a person commits the offense by intentionally misrepresenting an animal in their possession as a service animal or a service animal in training to obtain any of the rights or privileges set forth in the law for such animals. Because the state code changed, we need to change our city code.
So, like, I just wanna clarify, so this is like pertaining to, say someone has an emotional support animal. That is not considered a service animal, but if they try to say, this is my service animal, and it's truly just an emotional support animal, we can, or our police department can cite them for that, correct?
Any further discussion? Clerk, call the roll, please.
Councilmember Dalby?
Aye.
Armstrong?
Aye.
Beach?
Aye.
Sones?
Aye.
Lane?
Aye.
Rabe?
Motion carries 6-0. First consideration of an ordinance amending the Code of Ordinances of the City of Indianola by amending provisions pertaining to liquor licenses and wine and beer permits. Motion and a second.
So moved.
Second.
Jackie?
The state passed House File 470 that removed references to the Alcoholic Beverage Division and then added references to the Iowa Department of Revenue and State Code. They just changed who was overseeing it. And so again, Indianola's code needs to be updated to match the state code.
Any discussion? Clerk, call the roll, please.
Councilmember Armstrong?
Aye.
Beach?
Aye.
Sones?
Aye.
Lane?
Aye.
Rabe?
Aye.
Dalby?
Motion carries 6-0. First consideration of an ordinance amending the Code of Ordinances of the City of Indianola, Iowa by amending provisions pertaining to cigarette and tobacco permits. I need a motion in a second, please.
So moved.
Discussion, Jackie?
Yep, the state passed Senate File 612 that defines who's responsible for submitting a retail permit holder. And then when our codifier did that ordinance amendment, they also added in our fees that are set by state code to our ordinance. So again, we just need to be in conformity with the state code.
Any discussion? Hearing none, clerk call the roll, please.
Councilmember Rabe?
Aye.
Dalby?
Aye.
Armstrong?
Aye.
Beach?
Aye.
Sones?
Aye.
Lane?
Aye.
Motion carries 6-0. City managers report.
All right. Mayor, I don't recall, did you talk about Dayton Duncan already?
Yes, I did, but if you want to talk more about him, you certainly can.
Well, since I've already gone this far, just a reminder that Dayton Duncan will be speaking on September 16th, tomorrow, at a Hubble Hall at 6:30 p.m. This event is free and open to the public. I want to give a big thanks to Captain Rob Hawkins, who is now stepping into interim police chief Rob Hawkins. So Rob, thank you so much for stepping up during this time as we look for our next permanent chief, and appreciate the leadership and steady hand that you bring to the department during this time of transition. I also want to thank someone who's not here, and that is Assistant to the Simpson President, Chelsea Grenier. She provided me an excellent tour of Simpson College last week, gave me a lot of the history, took me through all of the halls, I believe. It was a really great tour, so appreciate her, and of course President Dr. Stubner, who made that possible. So thank you to them. Last item I have is just, last week we had the Iowa Public Information Board training. We had over 30 appointed and elected officials attend that government training session last week, and that was on open records and meeting law. So thank you to our elected officials as well as many of our appointed officials on our volunteer boards and the staff too who attended that training last week.
Thank you. I also want to echo your comments, Rob. Thanks for stepping up. Appreciate that greatly. AP, thank you for your service to the city of Indianola. So appreciate that greatly as well. Discussion action on future agenda items. I think we had one. Is there anything else we want to talk about?
Yeah, I wanted to see if we could discuss moving study session nights back to a regular meeting night. I wasn't able to go to the last one because it falls on a Monday that I'm not gonna be available most months, so, I don't know who had feelings about what and why it got changed. So I guess I'd just like to open that back up for discussion.
I think we changed it because of our own, is it an ordinance or a code that says our meetings aren't supposed to exceed
Hour and a half.
Hour and a half.
90 minutes? And when we, on nights where we have study sessions, you know, they go rather long, which is why they changed it to a Monday night. With the fourth Monday? Second? It was currently second.
It's currently on the second.
Yeah, but would the fourth work better for your schedule? Or you just hate the idea altogether?
Altogether,
Okay.
honestly.
There we
I
go.
mean, I just think it's a bit
Sugar, put it
mundane,
on.
but the second Monday is definitely the worst Monday for me, but,
Christina, would you want to have an agenda item to talk about changing the policy of the 90 minutes?
I think for discussion purposes, for us to have a study session after a council meeting, especially if they're long council meetings. I thought our discussion the other night was very good. I thought we had a great discussion on the issues, and I think we're a lot fresher when we do it on a separate night. I just think if we can accommodate your schedule, if that's fine. But I just think it's better to be on a separate night other than the night that we sometimes have long meetings. We're here till 9 o'clock. That's my personal opinion.
I mean, to be honest with you, I think we were elected to be here on those nights.
Well, I don't doubt it. We're also like to take other nights we need to be here too, so.
Well, yes and no. You're taking a position that was set with certain parameters to it when we ran, and then you're adding additional things to it when those of us who are still out here doing the different wards and, we're very involved in other aspects of our areas too. It's not just these meetings that we're at. So I kind of disagree with that, but.
Well, that's okay. I mean, I just think that history has it that we've done the back and forth throughout the last 30 years. It was always on a separate night. Early on, we got changed back and went to before count. I think
It was before council meetings when I got elected, and it had been that way for,
4 years.
so.
Yeah. but
And then we
before
changed
that
it to
was-
after.
Yeah, and before that, it was a separate night altogether. I mean, first 2 times I was on the council, it was a separate night. But I understand your point, you ran with every one night.
I don't understand, the aspect of we're only gonna be here for 90 minutes.
That's policy was set before anyone.
Right.
We're back on the council.
But there's no reason we can't address that policy and
That's
amend it.
absolutely true.
And I think, being elected, it's our responsibility to be here no matter how long it takes us to get through a meeting. Do I wanna be here till 10, 11 o'clock at night? Absolutely not. But will I if it's something important for our city? Absolutely I will. And I don't think that we should have something like a 90-minute clock saying, oh, we've hit our 90-minute mark, better bounce out of here and just put it off to another
Don't
meeting.
disagree with you there, it's just.
So, you know, I guess that is what I am asking then, is can we readdress our policy on that? And then reapproach and look at study session?
I'd like that to be on there. I'd like the public comment of 20 minutes total to be looked at too. For when we have the hot button issues and we do have a lot of people show up, I don't want to have to turn some people away.
True.
I don't think we should be in a position to say, well, there's 20 minutes. All right, super majority. I think we should, that's what we're here for. You know, we had some major rezoning things going on when Melissa and I started that, you know, you guys had packed houses for when they first came up, right? And we kind of caught the third reading, so not a big deal. Like, you wanna, I don't wanna be in the position where we have to pause and then hope that 2 people don't say no. 'Cause you gotta have 5, so I think we should be looking, I think we should look at that. I think that's what we're here for, is discussion and dialogue.
Which goes to the point too then, that if you're gonna have a lot of folks show up for a public comment and the meeting does run long because of that, which is fine, and it should, then you have a study session on top of that, and I don't think it gets to be very productive, that's just my point.
Well, or you just move the study session to the next meeting unless it's something that is immediately emergent.
Yeah. But sometimes those are the cases too, sometimes those become hot button issues as well.
Well, but then you can call for an emergency study session, right?
You always do that, but again, it's, to your point, it's another night. Yes, sir.
So are we actually discussing it tonight, or are we just adding it to the next meeting? I wanna make sure that I'm following along appropriately.
Yeah, we'll just add both those items to the agenda then on the next meeting.
That sounds awesome.
There you go.
Second.
Yeah.
All right, anything else?
Mayor, I think for the sake of the minutes, it'd be good to have motions and seconds and votes on those items.
Okay,
Yeah.
on both, each item separately?
Well, can we do that though? Make a
That's what this
motion?
agenda item is for.
We're moving, you're going to move to include it on the next agenda.
So we need a
Motion
motion
and a second.
to have it on the second, on an agenda?
It's
Okay.
'cause it's an action item to have it on the next agenda item. It's, yeah.
Okay. You need one for each one, or you can do them conjunctively?
I suppose if you consider them as all one issue, then you could do it
Let's do it separately
you know that word, and, or if you can do them
Pretty easy to
separately,
say.
right?
then. Okay, let's have a motion on the 90-minute regulation. Let's have a motion and a second on that, and then we'll take it to the next meeting. So the motion would be to work on the council policy of 90-minute maximums.
So moved. Second.
Motion and a second. Clerk, call the roll, please.
Councilmember Lane?
Aye.
Reed?
Aye.
Bobby?
Aye.
Armstrong?
Aye.
Beach?
Aye.
Stones?
Aye.
Next motion would be on a 20-minute elimination for the public comment.
Moved.
Second.
Any comments? Okay, we'll move forward. Clerk?
Councilmember Lane?
Aye.
Reed?
Aye.
Bobby?
Aye.
Armstrong?
Aye.
Beach?
Aye.
Stones?
There we go. Okay.
Did you still wanna do the study session? Question?
Yeah.
That one was not included.
Okay.
Yeah, so then a motion to rediscuss and give direction, I guess,
Yeah, on the policy
on the
of study
policy of study sessions
Okay,
and their times.
a second.
Second.
Okay.
Oh, I made the motion. He seconded. Sorry.
See, it's always
Yeah.
7:25. We're doing this already. Okay,
Councilmember Stones?
Aye.
Lane?
Aye.
Reed?
Aye.
Bobby?
Aye.
Armstrong?
Aye.
Beach?
Aye.
So Mayor, while we're playing this game, do I need to make a formal motion then from my discussion earlier?
Hey, while we're having fun, Josh,
I
why
mean,
not?
we're,
Might as
we're
well.
at it. I wanna
Yeah.
make sure
go
we're
right ahead. Knock yourself out.
I mean, I would make a motion to discuss the next meeting, I guess, our role in budgeted vacant positions and what's code and what's policy, and bring that all up.
Management versus oversight.
I'll second.
A motion and a second. Clerk, call the roll, please.
Councilmember Dobby?
Aye.
Armstrong?
Aye.
Beach?
Aye.
Stones?
Aye.
Lane?
Aye.
Reed?
Aye.
6-0.
Thought about it.
Anything else we wanna deal with next in a future study sessions or meetings? All right, take a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion a second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We're adjourned.